Hey guys, it's Bryce back here again with another commentary, and I actually have a special guest. Uh, Please introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? It's Brandon here from Brandon B Productions, Brandon B behind the scenes, all that stuff. So we're gonna be doing a commentary on Become Something More, a Spider-Man story today.
Yes, yes. All right, so we are gonna start. We're gonna hit play now. So, all right, let's do a count from three. All right,
All right,
three,
three,
2.
one. All right. From the people that brought you the Becoming Spider-Man series.
Yeah, I always wanted to bring people in on that just in case they didn't see the last series.
Yeah. And I kind of like how you referenced that. It's cool to think like, holy shit, you did 6 movies prior to this.
Yeah.
Like you almost had as many movies as the what was it, as Star Wars. You had almost as many movies as Star Wars, and almost as many movies as Nightmare on Elm Street. So that's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is. I just gotta say, best intro scene I think I've ever done.
I love this intro scene. How you have the spider like weaving the web. I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah. If no one knows, but I love 21 Pilots, and this is the song. This is one of their songs. It's a karaoke version of it. So I just wanted just the equipment or the sound, I guess, from it.
Yeah, people gave you a lot of shit for this song.
But I really did it because I really felt like it actually kind of fit. It was like this kind of very kind of happy kind of guy that.
Yeah, see, this kind of reminds me of that that scene from Spider-Man 2 with the raindrops keep falling on.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. Just 'cause it has that whole vibe to it. It has that feel. Just kind of like the happy-go nerd character.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I'm going to school. Can you tell myself?
And I just gotta say, my hairstyle in this is actually kind of based on the Ultimate series, kind of. Just a modern version of the Ultimate series. In the comics, he has he has his side and back shaved, just like
the
this.
undercut.
Yeah, and I thought I kind of represented it all right. I hope people kind of thought of it like that.
Yeah. Plus, didn't Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man have something similar to that? Like, he didn't have the top as long as you do. But he pretty much did have his hairstyle similar to yours in there. Because your hair in this scene specifically, it's not shaved on the sides because, it's, I don't know, there's still, some hair kind of growing out there. I noticed another thing that a lot of people complained about is having the disembodied voices for Bryce's father and for Nathan. But I mean, what some people don't understand, and I've always wanted to talk about what a lot of people who watch fan films don't understand is, at the end of the day, we are teenage kids, almost grown men, ready to enter society, and we're making movies about Spider-Man. So when you talk to most people about that and you say, hey, I'm doing a Spider-Man movie, do you want to be in it? They immediately just think of some 5-year-old kid walking around with a camcorder.
Exactly.
What?
So it's really hard to find people that are actually interested in doing something like this. I've had people say yo, I'm willing to be in a film, I just don't want to do fan films. I feel like that's kind of immature.
Yeah. I mean, which is really the case all the time, and that's why we don't always get women in this too. I was actually planning on having a love interest. I love putting love interest into movies. I just don't have the actors and all the time to. So
yeah.
And
that was one of the biggest problems with Hero of New York was it took forever to get someone to play Gwen.
Yeah, and if there is a ton of Easter eggs all over this place. There's a web shooter by my hand. If you haven't noticed that.
What? No.
Yeah, there's the web shooter. There's some references to Spider-Man on the wall.
Yep.
Man of Steel cup to show that's one of Bryce's favorite films.
That was actually BVS.
Oh, it's
another
BVS.
Another movie I do really like. So.
Yeah, there's some references to the
Amazing
Becoming
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2,
series.
Dragon Ball Z. You know, this is
Star
littered
Wars.
with just like references. So
My dad wants me home. I guess I'll see you later. All right, bye. Hey, Dad, why'd you want me home so quickly?
Pack your bags and get in the car.
But
Don't argue with me, just do it.
I always really
Look at
like
the
the
camera.
idea of just kind of being thrown into something you're not really prepared for. Kind of like this.
Okay, now here's the scene. Now when we mean, not received well, we're talking specifically about one review that was made for this film. This scene right here was not well received.
Yeah.
See,
Little Dicky
I don't
is
see what
one
the
of my
problem
favorite
is.
artists, so I wanted to get him in the film.
like, the fact that, and here's the thing, you're not Peter Parker.
I am not Peter Parker.
Peter Parker listened to a lot of jazz. He even listened to like some classical rock. Like I think he listened to like some Bon Jovi, some stuff like that. Not a big hip hop guy, but this isn't Peter Parker. This isn't Miles Morales. This is Bryce Cherney.
Yeah.
So the fact that you listen to a different kind of music, and plus with all the different adaptations of Spider-Man, Spider-Punk listens to like metal.
Yeah.
In one of my upcoming Spider-Man films, I'm having Peter Parker listen to like rock and roll, alternative, that emo stuff.
And I think it's fine to have him listen to different music,
It shows depth to the character,
Yeah.
People will be fine with the fact that they'll make, with the different comics, it's like Peter Parker is now Indian in one comic. Oh, that's fine. Peter Parker is a woman, he's Spider-Girl now. Oh, that's fine. Peter
Yeah.
Parker is, he's Miles Morales. Completely fine. Miguel O'Hara, completely fine. Peter listens to Lil Dicky. No, that's unacceptable.
Exactly.
Enough with that. People gotta chill.
Really.
So now I kind of like this scene just because of the whole Bryce is kind of thinking like, shit, my parents are dead, but I just got bit by a ton of spiders.
I think you can help me.
I really do feel like it's kind of a selfish act, but I had to move. It was kind of like the only way to move the story along, and you can't just
Yeah.
kill off a main character like that. So
Thank you.
See, that's one thing that I did notice about this movie is it's like there's some scenes that could have been longer or that could have been well explored, but the movie's almost 40 minutes alone, so the story did need to move.
yeah,
If you were to say maybe spend like 2-3 hours and make it a, like a Lost Cause kind of film, you definitely could have explored that a little bit more.
yes, I could, but it just
But like for what you
just
did,
didn't
I
happen.
think it's fine. Yeah.
Oh man,
So
I
kinda like
really
this
hate
scene.
how I really filmed all these scenes like I feel like everything's just kind of washed out,
yeah.
which is
I
kind
mean,
of
definitely.
bad.
Like
but-
if you would have shot some of these scenes in like manual on the camera,
yeah,
and you could have gotten some other things. I do like how did you have this on like a tripod or something when you filmed
yeah,
Because I just love it's completely like just still and it looks good. Parker, I love that reference to Peter
Yes.
Parker.
I had to get it in there.
It kind of teases that maybe Peter Parker does exist in the universe, but he's just not Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Or maybe he was the previous Spider-Man.
yeah, it could be true.
So then Ethan, he's just kind of like, looking through this research, and what I like about this is, it's gonna eventually set up it looks like it's set up for a film that Bryce is doing in the future. I'm not going to spoil anything, but showing the fact that Ethan isn't like the other characters that have been Peter's friends in some of these movies.
Yeah.
He's not a total idiot. He kind of knows some shit with science a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Judging by what he ends up doing to Peter, obviously not a lot.
Yeah,
Because,
he's not like an experimental scientist, but and he's also. I feel like this kind of gives him like a little bit of tension. how sad, how devastated would you be if you could actually have, you could have saved him, but you didn't, you know? And that's what I think he's kind of thinking about through all this is, you know, what happens if I don't save him? So I kind of have to try.
Yeah. See, and I love how the symbiote, it's like blue, it's almost bluish in the bottle, and then in the needle it's purple. It just it references Ultimate Venom from the Ultimate Spider-Man game and the comics. It references it so much because that's actually what happened.
Right here.
And that's like actually how it that's how it did happen. Not what happened.
Yeah.
That's how it did happen in the Ultimate Comics. The way the light reflected on it, it was like purple in some scenes, blue in some scenes, red in some scenes. So I think, you know, you demonstrated that perfectly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I also say, I really hated straightening my hair for this movie. It was not fun.
Oh, straightening your hair is terrible. I have to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'll come with you.
And
How
again,
do girls do it all the time, Bryce?
I don't know. But I also really wanted to show that these two are very much connected. As you see, they almost are wearing kind of like the same attire. As you see, they're both wearing like the gray color on them.
Really good.
Yeah.
But you know, it shows that they're they are the same. They're kind of like the same, and they should be together. Oh my god, not together. Well, they should have
Also,
like a friendship. They should have a friendship.
Yeah. Also, I like how you're wearing a Joker belt in this scene. It kind of references the fact that you played the Joker in the Batman v Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
And then I was completely shocked to see Venom in this. But then when I heard, and then when you see Venom, and then you hear him with the Ultimate Spider-Man sound effect, this was probably just my favorite scene first time watching it. Maybe because I'm just a huge Venom fan, you know, Venom Carnage, anti-Venom fan.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this scene.
And
Now, why don't you explain who this is?
Alexei Sisevich, a.k.a. Rhino.
So Rhino does exist in the universe.
He does exist, and I'm not going to do anything too big to the character except for just cameos. He's not going to turn into a Rhino. I did kind of think of the idea of, hey, maybe his gangster name or kind of crime name is the Rhino.
Everyone, I'm Ned Leeds.
Yeah.
And welcome to the
And this is a great cameo that my buddy Andrew Wedderburn, I'm pretty sure his last name is, very, very awesome guy. Thank God he did this for me. He really just captures a newscaster to me.
Oh, definitely.
And
Better than a lot of the newscaster scenes in
Yes.
films.
Yes. And also, this is also footage from the 70s that was on there of just someone crawling up the wall.
Maybe I can try to stop him.
And then that scene where that picture with the Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
I think it was Spider-Man suit. Another good scene because, you know, it actually looks like he can be wreaking havoc when he's throwing stuff. Also, kind of the vibes I'm getting from this is like, sort of like, for anyone who's played the game Batman Arkham Knight, just the fact that you see him like just with his face covered and you just see the eyes and the spider symbol, it's almost like a, you know, mystery man behind the mask, or in this case, behind the suit. And I just like how it, you know, how that was demonstrated. And, you know, even though Venom didn't have a big part in this film, I still love the inclusion of him.
And the thing is,
just think
if I ever do
really cool.
make a sequel to this, which is I'm not sure if I will, but Venom can always come back. I've always made that an idea of actually using Carnage as a character as the next one if I were to do it, but sadly I don't know if I could ever get around to that. I did a lot of Spider-Man. So.
And I love how, like, when he's, you know, out of the symbiote, it like ate his shoes. I just thought that was kind of cool.
I wanted to make sure it's like, oh, well, how the heck can he wear these big clunky shoes under there and it doesn't show? So.
Yeah.
You lost so much. I don't want to talk about it.
I also like how, you know, the symbiote's, you know, regenerative properties and how, you know, it has the healing factor and everything. How it pretty much just, like, completely cures you right before you have the suit on. You just have this, like, depressed look, and then once the suit's off, you're just, like, glowing. I don't know if you meant to have that, if like you
I did.
purposely meant to do that, but it definitely shows.
I really like showing this. It's a very, very cool way to show, you know, that it's mutating as DNA.
Yeah.
And there's my bony body.
There's a 6-pack Bryce.
6-pack Bryce. Only from the shadow. And I really... my hair's supposed to be messed up. You can't really see it, but it's supposed to be messed up, and I'm all sweaty, which you also can't see because I didn't light that scene properly, but...
That's the last of it. Okay, good.
And I also wanted to show that he's kind of different now, as, you know, he doesn't wear his jacket, or he doesn't wear the inside gray shirt.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
And I wanted to try to make, like, Bryce responsible for, at least someone for being shot at, which is,
Yeah.
I tried to get that Uncle Ben kind of feel. You know how
By the way,
how it's like his fault, kind of.
Yeah. By the way, pardon my interruption, but Bryce, you actually picked up that soda machine and you put it right in that location, right?
I did. It's true. I did.
Yeah,
it's not just there because, you know, the city put it there, you know. I specifically wanted that there.
You said it's expensive as hell too, right? That soda machine?
Was. Took up the whole budget, to be honest. And if no one notices, that's the Prowler. And I think I'm gonna be my editor, you know, said that I really should be working on the spider sense more, and I think I will for the next films whenever we do see it. So it's gonna be looking a little bit different.
Help. There's someone shot. It's gonna be alright, man. I'm getting help.
To be honest, I love my acting in this scene. I don't care what people say. I think this is just beautiful by me.
You know, here's what I think, you know, with why this film maybe isn't received as well as some of your other stuff, is people are resistant to change.
Exactly.
Like, they're fine if a character gets, like, a change, like a race change, a sex change, or the character's completely different. But when they make a reboot, it seems like a lot of people don't like it. You know, you look at the, I'm trying to think of some movies. What was it? Friday the 13th, their reboot wasn't received well. The Amazing Spider-Man wasn't received well.
Yeah.
You know, what's another? The Fan Four Stick wasn't received well. Where, you know, if you look at them, at the core, the films are not that bad.
Yes.
I'm gonna get shot at Comic-Con for saying this. Those movies were not bad. They just kind of suffer by comparison. And, you know,
Yes.
Robert Englund said this best, that, you know, a movie does good and a certain generation can see it, and then, you know, they grow up with that. But then when another reboot comes out with a new take on it, or a retelling, a lot of people don't like to receive it well.
Yes.
And, you know, sometimes things, as you said, suffer by comparison. I think once Becoming Spider-Man came out, and then you did the sequels, everybody was just really attached to it, and they liked it.
Yeah.
And then you were kind of like, you know, you killed them off in Batman v Spider-Man. It was kind of like, we're not doing Spider-Man anymore. People kind of accepted that as the definitive Bryce Cherney Spider-Man universe. And then you released this. A lot of people didn't expect it. So that's probably why.
Can I just say, really like this scene. It's I wanted to take an homage from the Raimi films and do that. So I don't know. I feel like I could have a little bit of fan service in here, just a little bit of myself.
Yeah, there's definitely some fan service to a couple other movies and comics and stuff.
Yeah. For some reason, I really like the idea of him having just like a one strap bag like that. I feel like it just really fits the character.
Oh, definitely. Especially your take on the character.
Yes. And can I say, those pants are really tight. Like, I accidentally kept putting them in the dryer a lot, so they got super tight when I started filming this, and it was like, ah. But, you know, not wearing them ever again, so.
Alright guys, so my voice thing just my recording kind of ended as soon as he was climbing up the wall, so we're back at the swing scene.
Yeah.
Or when he's trying to shoot the web. Again, a big fan service to the Raimi films. Here.
Yes. It's basically Raimi film on a smaller scale is what I wanted to do. And it's also an homage to the 70s where the Nicholas Hammond Peter Parker practiced swinging on a tree, so I really liked representing that. And I really like how the hair flip. Yeah.
Hey man, how's school? Not important. I have something to show you.
Really cool.
Okay, what? Where are your parents? They're out. Good.
Where are your parents? They're out. Good. That was funny.
Don't
I kind of like how, how do people say your acting in this is bad? The way you came home, like, mad excited to tell him,
Right?
I got superpowers.
Oh my
I'm sorry,
God.
I feel like this is probably
know.
one of my best acted movies.
That's not all.
Oh, definitely.
Except for that part from Ethan. Oh my
Where
god.
did this come from?
Yeah, maybe when
Think from
people
those
said your
spider
acting
webs.
was bad in this, I don't know, maybe they kind of confused with Ethan a little bit.
Maybe.
And,
Maybe
you know,
after
I'm not trying to
the suit
disrespect
got off
Ethan or
me,
be mean to him at all.
it
You know,
must
he
have
seems like a really cool
50
guy.
He is.
But his
spiders.
his acting in this was kind of lacking a little bit.
Maybe I can use these
I feel like it was a movie that I kind of forced him into, and we filmed this movie actually really fast too.
Who's after me? But
Yeah.
as soon as they see you, you'll get caught. You need a disguise. Like a superhero?
This was in one of the trailers,
Yes.
I think.
That sounds kind of childish.
I feel like it just worked for the trailer too.
That line you said,
okay,
this
I'll
seems kind of childish. Isn't that? I think that's the reaction that we get anytime we ask someone, "Hey, you want to be in a Spider-Man fan
Yes.
film?" That's the reaction they give
Seems
us.
kind of childish.
This is kind of childish. Yep. And then you're like, yeah, well, then screw you.
Yeah, I'll do it myself.
Which, by the way, how is it childish? The guys who direct these movies are like in their 40s.
True.
I can't.
Okay,
do
I love this scene. How he's like, you're like, yo, this is the costume I want. I want to be a superhero. He's like, I
have
can't do that,
sweats
bruh.
and a mask.
Bruh, you got sweats and you got a mask. You ain't getting that fancy
Yeah.
ass suit.
I don't know.
Get
about
out of here with
this.
that drawing.
Put the mask on and
I just thought that was like one of the funniest things in the movie.
Yeah. And I really wanted to really just kind of hide it from you at first, and to kind of reveal it like this,
disappointing.
kind of not really fully showing the front of it,
Yeah.
Well, better late
and
than
kind of
never,
just
start
showing
looking,
it
I guess.
as it kind of progresses on. I'm
If
really.
you guys can't see,
I'm sorry.
that's the human spider suit
Yeah.
from the first Raimi film.
Really wanted to I really like that suit. And
Yeah. I like it better than what we got in Homecoming, honestly.
True. Also, I'm surprised people weren't as mad that you really only see me as Spider-Man for the ending of the movie.
Yeah, right.
Which I feel like people got mad at the Power Ranger movie, but for them only being Power Rangers at the end. But I don't know.
Same with Fantastic Four
Exactly.
or Fan Four Stick.
Again, Alexei Sisevich comes up again. He's stealing my car.
Yo. So first he gets his ass kicked by Venom, then Spider-Man.
Right? Whoa, he technically got his ass kicked by me twice.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So Bryce kicks Alexei's ass twice.
Tell your friends.
Tell your
Hello,
friends.
hello, hello, and welcome to Podcast News Daily.
I feel like you kind of like the idea. Again, more Easter eggs that Deadpool is actually in this universe, and
Deadpool, and then the Skrulls exist.
Skrulls
in this
exist.
Universe. How
Past 2 weeks,
how freaking awesome is that, dude? The Skrulls.
and Reed Richards.
And dude, the Skrulls, the Fantastic Four, the fact that your universe is just already it just shows the existence of other superheroes.
Yes.
And see, I like that with fan films. Even in my kind of shitty adaptation of the Spider-Man film Hero of New York that I did back in the day. We even we referenced the X-Men. We referenced Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man. Captain America or something. And then
Also, before we go on,
favorite scene.
Before we go on, I gotta say, yes, this is nice, but I gotta thank Kai for doing the little podcast thing.
I'm sorry.
He really enjoyed. I feel like he really enjoyed making it, so I just wanted to thank him for that. It's awesome cameos. That's my editor, by the way. The podcaster.
Would a character like, Peter / Bryce, would a character like that be watching the news so much?
Yeah.
I feel like he has a bigger chance of listening to a podcast.
Yeah. I really wanted to show, because nerdier people kind of listen to podcasts. I don't really listen to them that much, but I do every once in a while, so.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts and stuff. I mean, I do listen to the news or watch the news.
Yes, sir.
I only watch Fox News because CNN is fake news, but let's not get
True.
into politics.
True.
We're
Yes,
here
let's.
for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Hey, what'd you show me?
Yeah.
Alright, get ready.
A great homage to the Spider-Man Unlimited show.
I love how you did this whole scene.
Also, the watch is actually inspired by the Amazing Spider-Man web shooter.
I kind of snuck into the
Yeah.
Baxter Village.
I almost got like a Ben 10 vibe from that.
Yes,
What
I
they do with the
did
watch.
want a Ben 10 vibe too.
Yeah,
With
it also
I
comes
do
with
like Ben
upgrades,
10.
like
Wanted to give it a little bit of
invisibility,
a twist on
police
there.
Scanner, spider tracers.
But
And
Ben 10 and
communication
Peter
devices
Parker have
in
always
the
been
map.
kind of similar.
They have been.
When you
I
look
I
at
would
it,
love
they
to do a
even
Ben
look
10 film
similar.
one day. That would be cool.
Really? Yeah. Computer's all set up. Put the headset set on. Open the computer, and you're my.
Oh, Homecoming took it from me. Just gonna say it now.
Yeah.
Okay, how many fan films did Homecoming rip off? They took from Become Something More with the whole man in the chair idea.
Yep.
They took the idea of having an Indian Flash Thompson from me. And then they took the whole fight on the plane, or Spider-Man stopping the
seems pretty
plane
calm
from
right
Heath
now.
Gleason.
All
I'm gonna head
bogus.
back on foot. I'm kind of
Yeah.
tired. All right, see you then.
And here's the first Prowler fight.
A really fun scene. Really hot, too, that day.
See, I just love, the way it was desaturated there,
Yeah.
and how he kind of, creeps up, and then you hear the spider sense. I kind of got Predator vibes from that. If you ever watch those movies, the Predators. I love how you say, discount Deadpool?
Yes.
It again teases that Deadpool's in the film, but also teases the fact that Prowler's mask is literally a purple Deadpool mask.
It is.
And then I like how you kind of went with a slightly modern version of the Prowler.
Yeah. I wanted to give him a new kind of origin for this universe.
Yeah.
And he does help him. I wanted to make a villain that could really just Spider-Man could just get trashed by just because he doesn't know what he's doing fully. Like, as you see, he's trying to take him on, but you can tell Prowler kind of just has him beat.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to show how much people can actually take a beating and how it actually does hurt your face a lot. And it does show, which a lot of fan films don't do, and I really wanted to get that.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of fan films don't particularly. Also, Spider Tracer.
Yep.
Nod to the '60s show, or no, that was the '90s show,
Yep.
the animated series. And then the fact that you're actually beat up. Fan films will have Spider-Man go through a whole explosion,
I got my ass beat.
and nothing happened at
Yeah.
all. He just gets up. His mask is ripped a little bit, and even I'm guilty of that. I literally had the Goblin throw a bomb at him, nothing happens, and then the second time he hits him in the face with a bomb,
I'll look at
Yeah.
and it just rips his mask off.
Yeah, and I wanted to get that Daredevil kind of vibe, Netflix Daredevil vibe from it, with the whole,
Yeah.
beating, getting beaten up. Which you don't really get a good look at it. Also,
Yeah.
gotta say, I mean, I am Prowler in this, which is kind of weird, but I love my acting in this part too. I really kind of like
I'll be ready.
he's really just kind of doing this for money, and he wants it.
So
Yeah.
Really villainous.
Also, it looks like he rented out Joker's lair from Batman v Spider-Man.
I mean, or that's a little Trask warehouse
Because he heard that
Ooh.
his brother was murdered.
from Trask Industries,
And when
which
he got back to the
possibly
States,
might
he
show up
found-
again.
He went out to find the killer who murdered his brother, and then he found him, and he made a job
Yeah,
out of it.
a little bit of exposition.
And then
Just felt
Yeah.
like, just to give a little bit of caringness to the character. Like, I felt
Yeah,
like,
this is why he's doing it.
yeah.
kind of feel bad for him, but
Because there's a lot of villains in movies that,
we could find an actual.
they have motivation to the point where you're kind of like, all right, I want
Here, let
the
me get
hero to defeat the villain, but I don't want him to kill the villain because the villain's got his like little struggles going on.
Yeah.
Some good examples of that was like Lex Luthor in BVS.
Mm-hmm.
Because when after like your second or third time watching it, you start to get the whole backstory to him, and it's like, okay, well, he had an abusive childhood. His dad beat him and all that. People weren't really there for him, so he's using his money to do that.
Yeah.
Also, apparently this is a rip-off of my film, which, guys, I didn't come up with this concept. I took it from the movie Kick-Ass. I used the same
Kinda
music
same
that they
here.
did in that movie.
And
So
it's the only way to actually show him suiting up. Like, there's
To
no
show
other
suiting
music I
up,
could put
yeah.
in this scene.
that wouldn't make. If
Yeah.
you put any other music in, it would have made it like
Looks like a trap.
it wouldn't have showed the seriousness of the fight. It would
Yeah.
just made it seem like, because like you could put some kind of happy hero music, but then it's just kind of like, yeah, triumphant. You could put metal music, and then it's like, yeah, badass.
Yeah, exactly.
But then this is the type of music you need to put so that it kind of shows the whole realism to it.
Yeah.
Same with this fight. If you put any other music, it would have just seemed like
Yes.
either badass or
This
heroic,
music
triumphant.
just fit it perfectly, and I love that.
Yeah, here you gotta have like because here we've explored with your other films that you're not afraid to kill heroes,
No.
like at all. So it's almost like, and plus you said I have another story to tell him. You didn't say I have multiple stories that I want to tell of this character.
Yes.
You said I have another story. So, he could have even been killed in this film,
True.
which I like.
Which really just shows the depth of, what is possible.
Yeah, it shows you have more balls than Disney.
I'm glad that he actually found a way to get out. Almost it's like Prowler's fault for just going off on him, making him move so much.
Yeah.
By the way, this grass is actually very wet, and I got very cold.
Yeah, I hate filming in scenarios like that. Was it a case of you thought the rain was dried up already?
No, it just got really wet out for some reason that night, so...
Oh, probably moisture or something.
Yeah, I think it's like dew, kinda.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There was this one time where it had snowed. I also love how you just start wailing on them. Don't talk about my parents.
It's true. And I do like how I did that.
Yeah. Even though only 2 of the legs stayed on, out of like all 8 of them.
Yeah.
I was
Um,
hired by Trask
What I do
Industries
like
because your father was a
is just
traitor.
like, the whole... It's pretty much like, what if you took the Raimi films, some elements of the Amazing Spider-Man films, but put it on a smaller, like, Netflix Daredevil, Netflix Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones kind of level.
Yeah. I like
Kind of like an
how that
indie
sounds.
realistic version. Yeah. Even with like a slight like kick-ass element showing that, being a hero has consequences.
And it does.
There's like, like back then little kids would say to me like, "Oh, I wish I was Spider-Man. I wish I was Batman or Robin
Yeah.
or Nightwing or whoever." And then you think about it, you can't live a normal life, your friendships, your relationship, your priorities are going to start to... You're going to have less time to do that because you
Yeah.
have to focus on carrying, the world on your shoulders. Then you can get killed. Every single night that you go out, you
Yeah.
have the idea in the back of your head, I might not return from this.
Yeah.
then also you have a just as easy as you became a superhero, someone can become a supervillain just as easy, even easier. And then they're crazy with power, and then they're like, well, hell, this dude, Spider-Man, Nightwing, whoever, keeps getting in the way of my plans. I'm going to show them I'm in business. I'm going to go kill their wife. I'm going to go kill their father, their mother,
Dear
whatever.
Bryce, if
That's
you
why I
have
feel like
found
a
this
lot of
letter,
people
then I
today
am
couldn't
dead,
handle
and
being
you
a
have found the
superhero.
secret
Yeah.
office.
And
You probably
almost
heard a lot about
no
me,
superhero
but I
films
want
out
to
there.
tell you
There
the
there are a few, but
I
not a
was
lot of
working
superhero
on
films
something
show
that would be able
that
to
true
cure all
struggle. I
disease.
feel like this film
It
captured it
turns out what I
as
was
best as you
working
Thank
could
you.
on a fan film
military
budget.
applications.
I really tried.
Then I started to run out
Yeah,
of money.
and see,
So I turned
that's
to
something
fast
that I
food
love
stores,
about
and they funded
Become
me
Something
for all
More.
the wrong
You know,
reasons.
certain fan
When I
films
found
worry
that
too
out,
much about
I left
visuals.
there.
You know, you look at
But
Made
since I
Legit
knew
Media
that,
and
they tried
their
to kill me.
Marvel Knights Spider-Man
Bryce,
films. The
I always
visuals
want
are
you to remember
absolutely
to always
amazing.
do what is right.
They look like
Because
Hollywood
with great
films.
power
They look
comes great
almost
responsibility.
perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but their story
I love you,
lacks.
Bryce.
You look at
Your
a
father,
lot of other
Raymond.
people. You look at like a Joey Lever, a Heath Gleason. Their story's decent. Their visuals are amazing. Here, you might not have great visuals, but you have a really, really good story, and that that really kept me entertained watching it. So honestly, I think that makes this film better than those just because of that aspect of it,
Yeah,
because it has a really good story.
that is true. Yes. And well, that is the end of the movie. Thank you guys for watching. Really, I do like doing these movies and these films for you, but Spider-Man is just it's a really hard character to do. For me now, ever doing it so much, it's so hard to think of new stories to do, which is why I'm expanding this universe. I'm kind of treating him like Hulk in the Marvel universe now. So,
In the sense that he won't get another, say, standalone film, but rather he's just gonna get, he's gonna have a bigger role in other films.
his story is, he does have a story to be told over these films that I'm going to be doing. So, yeah. Yeah, I really like the music I had in this part too, in all the
Music here is
sound
great.
in that. Yeah, I guess this is the end. I guess we can kind of do our sign-offs.
As we sign off, I'm just gonna touch on some final thoughts.
Yes,
And
final
then
thoughts.
you can touch on some final thoughts. For one, I have to say, compared to your other stuff, this is definitely my favorite out of all your work. If you guys couldn't tell by that, this is definitely, I'd say, his better film.
Yeah.
I mean, some fans of the Becoming Spider-Man series might disagree and say, Part 5 is the best, or Batman v Spider-Man's the best.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion. But for, what you had to work with and everything, I would say this is definitely your best film. I like the story.
Thank you.
I could tell you put a lot of time into a
Yeah.
story on this
The
film.
story was just amazing to write.
Yeah, I can tell. And it was the first time I was just really excited to see a Spider-Man story in a while. So, I think this is probably the best story to fit your budget, and that's something that a lot of fan films don't know how to do. They don't know how to write a story in their budget.
Yeah.
They'll be like, they'll have maybe $25 to do the entire thing, and they're like, I want to do a Sinister Six versus the Avengers. I want to have 8 different Spider-Man replica costumes in there. And because they only have $25-50 to do it, it doesn't work out that way,
Mhm.
and it never comes out as good as they want it to. With you, you realized, shoot, I don't have the budget to do Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six and the Avengers or whatever, or the Justice League. So, you did something on a smaller scale. And I always like that idea about Spider-Man is, he's not as big as Iron Man.
Yeah. I really wanted to
Hulk and
capture
Captain America. He's kind of a smaller hero, and he does things, on his own. And they tried doing that with Homecoming, but they kind of failed at that by making him, you know,
it was
still getting caught up in the Avengers and everything.
That
like
is true. I feel like he should have stayed on the ground just a little bit longer. But, you know, he's going to be showing up in Infinity War. We're getting off topic.
Yeah, basically saying, I actually kind of like this film better than Homecoming, but that's not saying much because I don't really like Homecoming. Different video for a different day. Overall, I'd probably give the film 8.5 out of 10, just because, you know, visuals could have been better.
Yes, yes.
Acting could have been improved. But just because the fact that this is the first fan film I've seen in a while that had just a really, really good story, you know, I'm definitely going to give it a higher rating.
Yeah.
You know, I like the story you told. I like the way you told it. I liked all the vibes. I loved all the Easter eggs, the references, the fan service.
Thank you.
I just thought that all that was pretty good. Now, I don't want people to be commenting, okay, just because Brandon and Bryce are, you know, they're friends, Brandon's just kissing Bryce's ass. That's not true.
No.
You know, there's a lot of stuff about this film I didn't particularly like, you know.
Even I think there's
Ethan's
flaws.
acting.
There's so many flaws in this movie.
I didn't think Ethan's acting was that great. There were some scenes that could have been shot better, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The disembodied voice is still technically, you know, it's still a little, I mean, even though I understand why,
It's a gripe.
you know, those still can be improved, yes. You know, the villain, you know, again, is played by Bryce, but again, I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, some scenes, the music felt a little forced, and other scenes, there should have been music.
Yes.
There should have been certain sound effects added or taken away in other scenes. Certain scenes could have had more, certain scenes could have had less. Every film has flaws, no film is perfect. So, by no means am I just praising the film or kissing Bryce's ass. I just wanted to get that out there. So, what are your final thoughts on the film?
My final thoughts is I really wanted to do a story that we really haven't seen before, and that was the whole kind of theme of this, is kind of do something that is new. And I thought I did that very well with, you know, doing the whole Bryce storyline and doing whole real characters play themselves kind of, so they can kind of create their own character, and which is a really fun idea. And I'm glad that I am actually expanding this universe, which is awesome. I'm not sure how far I'm going to expand it, and I probably won't. I'll keep you guys in the dark because I like giving you guys surprises. So yeah, Batman is going to be the next film, so that's going to be a fun movie to see.
And with this film, the Amalgam Universe is born.
Yes, the Amalgam Universe. If any of you guys can figure out why I called it that, you get an A+ or something.
We'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out.
We'll give you a shout out in the Beyond commentary.
We will.
How about that?
We will. All right. I have to say, even if I could rate my own film, I'm gonna have to say this is probably a 7.5, just because I know there's stuff I could have improved on, and I just didn't because I filmed it so far back, and then I looked at it now, and I'm like, wow, this could have been so much better. But that's what the next films are supposed to be doing, is making this look better for you guys. So those are my final thoughts. I do believe this concludes this commentary for Become Something More. Thank all the cast and crew and everyone who's watching this at home. This is Bryce Cherney and Brandon.
Be sure to check out my channel,
yes,
guys.
Be sure to check out his channel. Link in the description.
Yeah, we're actually working on some new stuff.
We are.
A lot of films coming out. Let's just say, if you guys are fans of Injustice and the fact there's alternate realities that are similar to the other ones, then you might like what Bryce and I have in store for you guys.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna give too much away. Just a little fun hint for you guys there. Bryce, thanks for having me here to commentate this film. I had a blast. Hope you guys enjoyed the film. Check out some of my stuff.
Please go ahead and do that. That'd be awesome for them.
And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah. Deuces.
Peace.